Hi guys, it's Jemina here from Slapp. Today I'm going to be doing a video on my favourites in every category. I did a poll a couple of weeks ago and you guys said this is what you wanted to see. These are the favourites you wanted to know about. So I'm going to be doing a video on them today. These are my favourites in every single category of makeup that exists. So hopefully it's interesting, hopefully it's useful. If you haven't subscribed already guys, please subscribe. We'd love to have you in the Slapp family. And without further ado guys, here is the video. So guys, first up in my favorites category, I'm starting with base and my favorite primer. I personally am someone who loves to use a primer. I have to use a primer for everything. Every time I put foundation or concealer on my face, a primer's got to go underneath because I like moisturization, I like hydration, I like my skin to look supple and hydrated and great. So my favorite primer at the moment, actually my favorite primer of pretty much all time is the Laura Mercier primer. At the moment I've been trying the Perfecting primer. I have also tried this in illuminating and hydrating. The Perfecting one does kind of do what the hydration and illuminating one does in one. This is a really good primer. It just looks really easy, it feels lightweight, and it just does a good job. So it doesn't really let me down. Laura Mercier primers are my favorite ones. Next up is lip balm, and at the moment for lip balm there's only one lip balm that has my attention and affection, and that is the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. This is the shade Vanilla, which is the original shade. When I first did my review of this, I actually preferred the tinted one, but this one is the one I use the most. The tinted one is good when I'm out because it gives me a bit of colour, but generally speaking I prefer this one just because it's very clear, very easy, and it's super glossy on. It basically looks like a gloss but it feels like a lip balm, and it's not sticky, and it's great. And they've updated the packaging so it's much easier to use, and it's just amazing. I'm definitely going to be buying this when it runs out. It has a nice little applicator as well, which just makes it so easy. Next up is foundation, and for my foundation I found this the hardest one to choose. I was going to put the Dior Backstage Face and Body in as my favourite foundation because it's just something I can rely on any time of the year. It's just an easy one to go for, but I didn't actually want to put it on today, and that made me realise it's probably not my favourite at the moment. At the moment my favourite combo is a cheat. So at the moment my favourite combo is the Dior Capture Total in the shade 5N. This is a fairly recent purchase for me, so it's a bit weird that it's in my favorites, but it has become one of my favorite foundations. It does start off quite light looking, but it does oxidize and does turn into my perfect skin tone. So I do really like this one. At the moment, because I am still in a bit of a weird skin tone space, I do mix it with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in the shade 13 because I bought the wrong shade, as some of you guys will know. It's one of my favourite foundations, but I still haven't managed to buy it in my correct shade because I'm a Wally. So these two together are my favourites. It's a cheat, they are two, but those two are my favourites at the moment. I've got a few favorite brow products to hold them in place and really keep them like up. I've been using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze. I find this such a good pomade. It's clear. It just gives me that kind of gives me that laminated brow look. It really actually holds my brows up much better than anything else I have, and it does still allow me to fill in my brows afterwards. You wouldn't think it would because it's quite thick, but I can still get a pencil through the gaps and then build on top of that. I tend to use this first and then I use a brow pencil after. At the moment I'm using the Gucci brow pencils, which are two of my favorites, but my actual favorite brow pencil in the world, that thing I've repurchased more than anything else in the world, is the Benefit Precisely My Brow in the shade 6. Sadly, this one has run out, so I can't give you guys a swatch, but it is my favorite brow pencil. It's just the best thing since sliced bread. It's just the one. Next up, guys, in terms of eyes, I like to use a cream base and then top it off with a powder. And then if I'm feeling wild or I'm going out somewhere, I will top it up with a glitter topper. So my favorite three things in the eye category are cream eyeshadow. I'd have to say the Cocoa Caviar Stick from Laura Mercier. It is my favorite thing. I got this in a travel size, trial size, and I literally scoured the entire internet to try and find this again. I managed to find it at Selfridges, and I only bought one, which was really stupid, but I'm hoping that it will come back out. But this is literally my favorite thing. Sometimes you'll just see me put this on its own. It's just a really nice chocolatey brown cream eyeshadow. It stays put. It gives my eyes a bit of depth, gives them a bit of shape, and it just works as a great base for everything. It doesn't really brighten my eyes, but it just really flatters my eyes. So it's my favorite thing and my favorite cream eye product. Once I'm done with that, I normally top it off with a powder eyeshadow, and my favorite eyeshadow, powder eyeshadow, is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Eye Filter, which I very rarely talk about because you guys know why, but this is a really good product, and as you can see from the amount I've used it, they work really well to set my cream eyeshadow, but they also just give a really nice softness. They're a matte shadow, but they're very soft, very subtle. It doesn't look like I've got anything on. It doesn't look over powdered. It doesn't look too red or too brown. It's just a perfect setting shade. So I really love both of these. If I want something a bit warmer, I'd go for this. If I want a bit darker, I'd go for this. Most of the time I switch between the two, which is why they both are showing pan. In terms of toppery shades, at the moment I've only got one thing that I love, which you guys have probably heard me talk about ad nauseum, is the Pat McGrath Labs Voyeuristic Vixen Eyeshadow Quad. One of my favorite things in the whole universe. I just love it, and I just love one shade. Like that, I love the whole thing. It's all great, fantastic, but this one here is the thing I use more than anything else. It's my favorite toppery shade. Anytime I'm going out, I put a little bit in the inner corner. If I'm feeling really jazzy, I'll sweep it across the rest of my lid. It's just amazing. It's so good, and really does a good job of going on top of a brown eyeshadow and just lifting a brown eyeshadow and giving it a bit more dimension and interestingness to it. If I'm feeling really pajazzy, then I'll go for the pinky gold one, but then I do tend to layer that up with other things because I think it can be quite like intense. This is really nice if I want something a bit warmer, a bit more red, but personally I do use the Charlotte Tilbury brown more just because it's a bit more of a proper brown, whereas this one's a bit more of a rosy brown. I never use this shade here, so it is a bit of a wasted shade for me, but this just makes up for everything, and it's literally my favorite thing. My favorite bronzers at the moment are bronzers I didn't think were going to become my favorite bronzers. My favorite cream bronzer is the Chanel Le Beige 395 Soleil Tan Deep Bronzer. It's the thing I use every day. I just use it here and it just adds a bit of illumination, radiance, warmth, and a tiny bit of color to my face. Not very much because it's practically my skin tone, but more for the glow. This is my favorite thing, and it just gives a bit of definition where my face can just become one tone, and it's just a really good base for everything else I put on top of it. So this is my favorite cream bronzer for every day. The one thing I've actually been using more as a contour is actually the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer, but in the shade Chestnut. This is a cream product and it's so rich, and I definitely got the wrong shade, but it's so rich and cool and neutral that it's the perfect contour. I do have other contour products that I like the Patrick Ta cream contour and the Danessa Myricks cream contour, but I do find that the Danessa Myricks one does disappear after a little while, and I do find that the Patrick Ta one is a bit deep it's got a slightly different undertone, whereas this is like the perfect undertone. So this is my favorite cream contour of the moment. And in terms of powder bronzer, this is actually probably the most contested category I have. I actually have so many great powder bronzers, the Charlotte Tilbury, the Dior, the Ilia, the Gucci, which I never really use, but I do really love. I'd probably say Charlotte Tilbury, Dior, Ilia are some of my favorite powder bronzers. But at the moment, my favorite powder bronzer, and the one I've been reaching for ever since I bought it, is the Victoria Beckham bronzer, the one that took 5 months to come, but did arrive. And this is the shade 5 from Victoria Beckham. Really does a good job and kind of is all of my other favorite bronzers in one. It kind of just does what they all do. It's not too spready, it's not too red, it's not too cool, it's not too neutral. It's not too dirty looking, it's just perfect and really does a good job. I also love the packaging so much, and it is also refillable, so gotta love that as well. In terms of powder, my favorite powders of all time really are the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra powders, and I used to use them in a loose setting powder form, but they recently brought out a palette which I do really enjoy, so that is what I've been using the most at the moment. But I think any iteration of this By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra tinted powder is the best. It's the best powder because it's very sheer, it's very translucent, it's very light on the skin, but it's also hydrating, doesn't dry out the skin, but it also controls oil. And I do have other finishing style powders that don't really control oil, whereas this gives me the effect of a finishing powder but actually controls oil as well. So I absolutely love the By Terry Whole Hyaluronic Hydra Tinted range. And if you are my skin tone, but if you are in my skin tone category but these aren't rich enough for you, there is a 600 in the loose powder, which is a really nice rich shade. This one is good as well, but you might not just want to buy it for this one shade. So I would recommend trying the loose tinted powders as well if you can't find your shade in the pressed form. My favorite cream blusher at the moment is the Rose Ink Lip and Cheek Colour, and this is in the shade Dahlia Wasn't expecting to love this as much as I do, but it's just so nice. It just gives my skin like a really nice glow. It really stays put as a blusher, as a cream blusher, which not many things do. And it's just a really nice shade. I love it. It's very rich, but it's kind of light, enlivening as well. So I think it's such a nice product. And considering it's a brand new brand, I think they've done a really good job to create such a hero product so early on. Next up on my list of favorite blushes, in terms of powder blushes, there is only one powder blusher that is the best powder blusher in the world, and that is the Pat McGrath Labs Divine Blush. My favorite one for my skin tone is the shade Paradise Venus, but there is definitely a best one for every skin tone, and she's really created a great range of shades. So this is a Paradise Venus here. So pretty, such a nice warm terracotta-y rosy browny rose shade. It's just lovely, and definitely my favorite powder blusher, the only thing I reach for really, and has completely trumped everything else in my collection. Another contested, hotly contested category was concealer. I have so many concealers I love. The Dior Forever concealer, the Rose Ink concealer, the Lancome concealer, so many good concealers. But at the moment, my favorite one, especially with foundation or tints or anything else, is the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate concealer. Very new. This is in the shade 7NO Almond. And it's very new, but it's so good, and it's really good at covering up my dark circles, much better than anything else. It creases the least out of everything I have, and just does a really good job, and it's also stunning. I mean, the packaging is amazing. It's very expensive, which is a bit sad, but I think it's truly worth the money, and definitely something I would recommend to anyone. My favorite liquid highlighter is the Dior Backstage Face and Body Glow in the shade 001 Universal. My old favorite highlighter, liquid highlighter, was the Becca Glow Drops, but Becca has closed down, so I had to find a dupe. I use this on the bridge of my nose mainly. I don't really use it on my cheeks. Sometimes if I'm feeling a bit wild, I'll use it on my cheeks, but 9 times out of 10, it's just a nose bridge for me, and it's very sheer, but it just gives a bit of gold, a bit of light, adds a bit of dimension to my face, and stays put. So I think this is a really nice product. It's very sheer, it's very chill, it's not too shiny, not too glittery, and just really good. And I think because I only use it on my nose highlight and it's huge, I feel like it's gonna last forever. For my powder highlight, it is also Dior, but I can't open this. This is the Dior Backstage Glow face palette in the shade 005 Copper Gold. This was a limited edition last Christmas, and I don't think it's available in most places anymore. Some places in Dior you can still get it depending on your region. I think it was available in the UK, not the US, or the US, not the UK. Definitely give it a go if you are this skin tone. They also do have their regular universal palettes, so it might be worth trying those depending on your skin tone. But I really like the Dior powders because they look like they're going to be really glittery and shiny sheeny, but they're actually very smooth and luminescent on. So I like the Dior highlighters in any form. My favourite liquid eyeliner is the Pat McGrath Labs Perma Precision liquid eyeliner. It's the only liquid eyeliner I've used since I bought it about 2 years ago, and it's the only thing I've repurchased since I bought it. Really love this. It actually lasts a really long time. It gives me a really nice fine line. It does all my wings. I can make a thick or a thin wing. It's really easy to control, and it's just really, really easy to use. So definitely my favourite liquid eyeliner, and the only liquid eyeliner I will ever buy. In terms of mascara, I've got two, again, cheating. My favourites are the Gucci L'Obscure Mascara and the Pat McGrath Labs Dark Star Mascara. I say that the Dark Star Mascara is very volumizing and lengthening and just gives you a really nice full fat lash, whereas the Gucci is a bit more lengthening and a bit more chill and kind of separates those lashes. Together they are my favourite combination, but I think either of these on their own are also great. And on my lips, guys, last but not least, on my lips, my favourite lip liner, as you guys probably know, my favourite lip pencil in the world is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Intense lip liner. It's my favourite lip liner. It is a dupe for the MAC Chestnut, so if you do have that and you don't necessarily want to get anything else, and this is pretty much the same shade, but I just find this glides on and has staying power in a way that nothing else does. So definitely my favourite lip liner. In terms of lip gloss, another category I couldn't choose. I have a lot of favourites. I like the Charlotte Tilbury, I like the Lisa Eldridge, I like the M Cosmetics. Most lip glosses I've tried I enjoy, so it was hard, but I have to give it to Pat McGrath because she just makes so many incredible shades and her formulation is so nice. Her packaging is so substantial and her wand is so long, and I just love it all. So my favourite shade is the shade Flesh Fantasy, but she has so many other great shades. And last but not least, guys, my favorite lipstick. I couldn't pick one. I have a lot. Pat McGrath, Charlotte Tilbury, Lisa Eldridge. so many great lipsticks that I also couldn't pick, but my favorites at the moment, and the ones I tend to reach for the most at the moment, are the Byredo lipsticks. At the moment I'm using the Amber and Furs Sheeny Shiny Metallic-y one, which I did not expect to like, but I do really like. But I also have this in the shade Earth Dust. I also know that the reds are really fantastic. I just don't really wear reds. But Byredo do really cool lipsticks. I love their packaging. It's just so chic and different and lovely. And I love their formulation. It's really nice, and their colors are really interesting and different. So I'd have to give it to Byredo at the moment for my favorite lipstick. They are very nourishing, very moisturizing, and really lovely to own and have, and just have on your cabinet. So guys, that is it. Those are my favorites in every category. Let me know if I've missed any. I'm sure I have. I feel like I have. I don't know what I've missed. But hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it was useful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Will you be buying any? Will you be trying any? Do you have any? Have I missed a trick? Should I have picked something else? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway guys, I hope you found this interesting. Are there any other favorites you would like to see? Please let me know. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video. If you haven't subscribed already guys, please subscribe. We'd love to have you in the Slapp family. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one.